Displays of Voldaren bloodlust are not restricted to glamorous banquets and lavish parties. Olivia's Dragoon. How's it going, everyone? I'm Josh from Elder Drunken Highlander, and this is an extra special deck tech video. This video showcases a deck brewed by Austin, that's Austin right there in the photo, you'll be seeing a lot more of him soon, that he has kept and maintained for almost 10 years at this point. It also features our channel mascot and local Innistrad wine mom, Olivia Voldaren. Oh yeah, baby, it's another Olivia Voldaren deck. But this time, it's different. This time, it's personal. We have already featured Miss Voldaren in our Vampire Dinosaur Tribal deck, but that was a vastly different build than this one. This deck is a unique concoction of Austin's that focuses largely on abusing Miss Voldaren's two abilities in order to control the board and keep our opponents off their creatures. In the late game, we can use Olivia Voldaren's second activated ability to bring opposing creatures into the fold. This means we can focus our deck on mana production while relying on our foes to play creatures which we can bite in order to simultaneously remove and forward our board state at the same time. So much value! We also have a robust Voltron backup plan that enables us to swing in for massive flying beats, or simply leave our boozy Vampire Queen up as a dedicated flying blocker if we need her to hang back for a bit. With our ability to bite and steal creatures, this means we can create a bit of a lock for some decks. Olivia apparently has experience in locking people out of doing things that they need to do. I mean, particularly vampires, right? Just ask Soren. Before I regale you with the intricate details of this deck though, I want to let you know about some of the other things we are doing as a channel. We have a Discord where the idea for this video was actually born, and where you can also play spell table games and brew decks with us and the rest of our awesome community. Seriously, if you're like a lot of other reasonable players I know and have been scratching your head at all the weird power level stuff that Play EDH has been doing lately, maybe consider playing with us instead. We play all power levels from meme decks to tier 1 EDH, so there are games for all playstyles and preferences. We also use our words and have pre-game conversations. It feels super great, just saying. Shoutouts to everyone on our Discord, they really rock. We also have a Patreon you can sign up for if you want to support us directly. This week I want to showcase our patron deck checks, where $5 and up patrons can submit a deck once a week to get evaluated by either myself, Austin who made this deck, and many others that we have featured, or one of the other deck builders on our channel. You may just hear my voice, but these decks aren't entirely my own creation. We will look at your deck, goldfish it a little, and offer our thoughts, suggestions, and any other details about the deck we can think of. Now, on to the main deck. This deck, as I said before, is built around using Olivia Voldaren's abilities to set ourselves up for victory. Olivia is a rather strong and underrated creature and can certainly carry games in her own right. She is capable of single-handedly controlling the board, all without spilling the blood wine she is holding, also single-handedly. Can you see now why she's our mascot? Such skill, such grace. It isn't hard to imagine how this woman was able to so easily dunk on Soren and seal his pasty ass in stone for a few years. I mean, she was an opportunist about it, sure, but even so, Soren is a weenie. That's my point here, I guess. He'd be cooler if he had wine, and was less of a weenie. Olivia's first ability allows us to pay 1 and a red to deal 1 damage to another target creature and put a +1/+1 counter on Queen Olivia. This acts as a mana sink for us and allows us to keep the board clear of anything with a low toughness while also buffing up our Vampire Wine Mom, often destroying opposing flyers and then bopping in with Miss Voldaren is our simplest path to victory. If our opponents can't remove her, she quickly can become a 2 or 3 turn clock, depending on how many resources we have when we start swinging. Even if creatures aren't big enough to bite repeatedly, you can bite stuff in response to your first bite. Bites on bites on bites on bites, storing blood like they're megabytes. I'll see myself out. That brings us to our second relevant ability, Flying. This ability allows her to sneak past opposing blockers for easy Voltron wins, and also makes it so that she can block enemy flyers on the turns we leave her up for defense. Lots of commanders rely on large evasive creatures to close games, and Olivia, being a larger evasive creature, usually makes that plan a lot less viable. Also, when you're a flying creature, you don't have to clean your floors as often, which I'm sure Olivia's housekeeper thrall appreciates. Even if our opponents have a creature that we can't bite and or beat our way through, Olivia, the mean, lean Vampire Queen, has a third relevant ability that really strikes fear into the hearts of our foes. For the low cost of 3 colorless and 2 black, you can gain control of an opponent's creature, assuming it's a vampire first. Since Olivia likely put her mouth on the majority of creatures on the field, that second clause should be easy to achieve. What this means is that for 7 mana total, we can take any creature on the field at instant speed, which is pretty good if you ask me. It's especially good against vampire tribal decks, or Sorin Markov. Well, not really, because he's a planeswalker, but it's a joke, since their creatures come to us pre-bitten. Nothing is funnier than watching that dude who always jams Edgar Markov switch decks when he sees you sit down at the table. That's what they get for playing Eminence. Having what is basically an agent of treachery on a stick in the command zone is scary good, and if left unanswered, will easily win the game for you. This strategy is especially potent against opposing commanders, as most of them can't do shit about being recruited to play for the winning team. Nobody runs Homeward Path anymore. Usually, opponents have to resort to killing Olivia, and they can really only do that so many times before they run out of removal. With the way this deck is built, we will always be able to recast our commander, and since she comes down very consistently at turn 4, opponents are going to have to play around her pretty much all game. This means decks that rely on weenie creatures or mana dorks won't be able to build their board, and Voltron decks will have to sequence their protection carefully in order to avoid getting bitten and yoinked. Once we have control of the board, it is an easy path to victory to just assail foes with commander damage bonks. Olivia is usually at least a 5/5 by the time we start swinging, and with her ability to buff up, she can easily take down a player in 2 to 3 hits. Even if we take everything that isn't nailed down, we can still buff our middle-aged Merlot lover. She doesn't have to bite an enemy creature. She can still suck off of any of our own dudes as well. Bet you suckers didn't see that coming. So if we steal a succulent creature, we can still make a big ol' vamp. This also means that we can bite opposing or our own creatures in order to save Olivia Voldaren from damage-based removal spells like Lightning Bolt or Toxic Deluge. Bolt the bird, don't bolt the floaty wine vampire. We like her here. The next thing I want to discuss before I wrap up this deck check and show you the deck list is budget. This is by far the cheapest deck we have ever showcased on this channel. In fact, at the time of me recording this, you can purchase this entire deck list for around $5. If you want the entire thing foiled out, it'll cost you maybe like $20. Why is it so cheap, do you ask? Well, let's take a look at the final aspect of the deck, the mana base. Yep, it's just 99 basic lands. Happy April Fool's Day, you filthy animals. Seriously though, this is a real deck that Austin owns and plays and even wins with, much to the embarrassment of others and myself when they find out. He literally has a stack of 99 basics in his deck case with Olivia on top. It's fucking awesome, honestly, such a power move. He's had this deck for like 8 years now, and honestly, it just never gets old seeing people react to it for the first time. He also, for this video, made a version of the deck using like actual good lands. So if you are interested in seeing our attempt at a stronger 99 lands deck, you can see it linked in the video description as well. This deck is still a meme, but a slightly more powerful meme with access to modal double face cards and lands that do things and have effects. Which I guess brings me to my question to you guys. What commander would you build 99 basics with? Ashling? Multani? Morag? Obnixilis? Ovia Bashiri? Who else would make a good choice? Let us know in the comments. Also, check out our social media for more shit posting like this. We got the Twitters, Instagram, Discord, Reddit, and Twitch too. Gods, I just spent like 5 hours making a video on 99 basic lands and a vampire tribal lord everyone forgot existed. I hope you were entertained by this video, Austin. I certainly was. Happy April Fools.